Coffee maker is a remarkable little machine, very neat and tidy. And you pour the water into the well, and the water's drawn up through a heating element and is poured steaming hot over the grounds. And it percolates through the filter basket, drip dropping into the pot that sits on a hot plate. And it's miraculous that you have that coffee all of a sudden. But a thought occurs to me, if you can have grounds and water and not necessarily be able to get coffee without that heat and the percolating. I think the same thing's true in our devotional life, our walk with the Lord. You can set aside a time to be with Him, and you can have the Bible or some devotional book. But it doesn't necessarily mean, because you have that time set aside, that it's going to be productive, that it's going to create in your heart and mind and life what you want. So I think if you think of that heating element or the power of that time, it's going to be in having a hunger and a thirst, and you could even say a loneliness for the Lord would be necessary. That just having those meetings out of duty and obligation don't necessarily get there. On a beautiful day like today, a pilot could very easily navigate his aircraft without any instruments because he can see everything. The sun's shining and the sky is high. But if the fog rolls in and the sky gets dark, he's going to need his instrument panel to be able to get there. And I think for a lot of us, especially in times like this, you're going to really need to have the ministry and the blessing of the Holy Spirit to be able to get through that and to be able to tap into the real power and insight and transforming nature of the Word. You've really got to have the Holy Spirit. You've got to have that hunger and that thirst. So for those of us who are kind of canteen Christians, who are just used to filling up our canteen at a church service or a Bible study group, we're going to have to be digging our own wells here so that we can have a source for ourselves. I want to read to you just a few verses from the 107th Psalm. Listen to these words. It says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom He has redeemed from trouble and gathered in from the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. Some wandered in desert wastes, finding no way to a city to dwell in, hungry and thirsty. Their soul fainted within them. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and He delivered them from their distress. He led them by a straight way till they reached a city to dwell in. Let them thank the Lord for His steadfast love, for His wondrous works to the children of men. For He satisfies the longing soul, and the hungry soul He fills with good things." I pray that during this time in our lives and during this time in the life of our church, that maybe there'll be a hunger and a thirst which cannot be satisfied through anything other than being alone with the Lord and hearing His voice, knowing His peace, His assurance, and the wonderful embrace of the Holy Spirit. I'm praying for us for that. I'm praying for you for that. And I remain committed to seeking the Lord myself and for my family during this interesting and in some ways wonderful time. God bless you. Again, we're praying for you and we're here for you. Have a good night.